what could you say, my work on trying to produce a mould for cb125 RS panel. And today you'll see the work I done yesterday, just smoothing it all out. But today I have been slaving away, and I did not video it because it would have took just way too long. I've been slaving away, closing off all the areas so that I can push it down into the mould, because some parts are higher than others, you can see. So I need to be able to push it way down without the plaster parts flowing over it. So I've been trying to close it up, and this is as far as I've got. And I've been using hot glue and just an old plastic bucket, and it was tedious work. It was very hard to get it closed up the way that it is now. So I'm hoping that it's going to work and it's going to seal it enough for me to get what I need out of it. That's as much as I can tell you about it for now. So just to give you a look, you can even see the curved parts, and that was the hardest part, actually, getting them filled in and stuff. I'm just hoping that it works out. So just a little video to show you what I've been doing today, and hopefully it'll be successful when I try it. So I think the next thing now is to get the plaster of Paris ready, and well, let's give it a shot and see what happens. See you later, folks. Well, the day has finally arrived, guys, where I'm going to try and make this mould. You can see I had to get a deeper tub. It may even be too big, the tub, because I might have to use too much stuff to do it, but I'm going to give it a shot. I do not have a lot of confidence in this working out, but I'm going to give it a try anyway, because I don't really have a choice. So I've got this PVA glue, and that's going to act as my mould release. And I'm going to paint it onto the piece and let it create a film over the piece, and hopefully then we can go on and start making our mould. I do have a few concerns about the mould, and that's the fact that there's little bits that are sticking out here that might pull parts out of the mould when I finish it, but there's not a lot I can do about it. I just have to take my chances and see what way it works. So without further ado, I'm going to start covering this in the PVA. Just got an ordinary brush here, brushing it all over it, everywhere I can get it. And there's all over the face of it here. I'm trying to make it as thin as I can, just to not have it pick up all the brush strokes and everything. So I'm trying to have the brush strokes going the same way. Could use a little bit more here, a little bit on the edge there. I could really use two hands to do this, so I might get back in a wee second. When I have it coated, you don't have to watch every single piece of me coating it, because it's just brushing on stuff, that's all it is. And I'm just trying to keep my strokes going the same way, as you can see. There you go. That's what we're doing. Back in a second. Okay, so that's the piece, totally covered in PVA. You may be able to just make out the shine of it there. So I've covered every single piece, edges and everything, sides, and I'm hoping that that's going to be enough to work. I'm just going to wash my brush here, because I can make that usable again just by giving it a wash. So on to the next piece, and that's going to be mixing the plaster of Paris to get it ready. Okay, so the weather today is quite damp, and it has taken this PVA glue a very long time to harden up. So much so that I had to take it into the house and get the hairdryer at it. But it is dry now, it is ready to go. And I'm going to go now and I'm going to try and start mixing up a bit of the plaster of Paris. Wish me luck. I know that I'm going to need quite a bit, and this is a big box, and I don't even know if I've got enough, but I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to try and get just above this black line here at least. That's the depth I need to be able to push this into it. So wish me luck with that. I'll be back with you in a second when I have a bit of plaster Paris in the actual tub. So here we go. Okay, so this is the first batch of plaster Paris that I bought, and I considered the size of this bucket, and I says, you know, I could get a smaller bucket, but then will it be the right size to get the depth into it? I didn't know, so I figured to myself, well, do you know what, that might not be enough. So I went and I bought then this large bag of it. I'm sorry about moving the camera around there, but I have a big bag full of it there, so I'm hoping that I have enough. But I'm going to start with putting this bag here completely into the bucket, and we're going to start wetting that up to see what depth it's going to get us to. So just bear with me. Okay, so I've set you up there so you can see what I'm doing, maybe a little bit better. There is no zoom when I have the camera turned this way, unfortunately. But we'll give it a start anyway, and hopefully you have a bit of a view of what I'm doing. So without further ado, I'm going to get this bag and I'm going to get the knife and open it and pour it into the bucket. There we go. And I'm going to start adding water to this and see if it's enough, because I don't know what level this is going to get me to. And if it's not enough, then I'll open the other bag and I'll start adding a bit more of the other bag to it. But for now, I'm just going to start adding water and see where it gets me. So I have to go now and get a bucket of water, and I'll be back with you in a little second. And I'm just going to check my lighting here. May not need lighting today. Maybe that's a little bit better, I think. So just give me a second, I'll be back with you. Okay, so I've got a little tub here and a bucket full of water, and I'm going to start adding in the water into the box here, but I don't want to get my jacket covered in this, and it is pretty cold out here, but I'd rather not get my jacket covered in it and be a little bit cold, to be honest with you. Right, let's do this. I'm actually seeing a lot of particles of stuff in the bucket here, which I'm not very happy about, so just give me a minute and I'll be back. I'm gonna refill another bucket. Okay, I'm back, and I'm a lot happier with the cleanliness of the water, so now we're going to start adding the water to it. I'm going to take a full little dish here and just dump it in. There we go. And what you're meant to do is you're meant to start getting your hands and mixing it through nice and slow. It really is messy stuff. It really is. And it's a really lumpy consistency at the minute, which is probably not what you want. You probably want something that's smooth. So I'm going to add a bit more water. We'll just add it in as you need it. That's it. Okay, so I'm just going to keep breaking up the lumps of stuff here. And I'm definitely going to need more. I can tell already. I'm definitely going to need more to get the consistency that I need for it. I'm definitely going to be needing some. And this water's freezing. So I'm mixing away here, trying to get the lumps out, dissolving it in the water. it definitely shows you that it's a good idea to add your water as you need it, and dump the stuff into the tray first, not the water. I mean, the consistency it's at now is getting a bit watery actually, the consistency, so it's a good job I kept some of that in the bag, that I can stiffen it up if I need to. Yeah, so that's getting kind of half decent now, half decent. I'm really trying to mix all of the hard parts out of it. It's just not that easy when you're dealing with this amount of it. I really could have done with something to maybe mix it with, like a, I don't know, some sort of plaster whisk or something hooked to a drill. But look, I'll try and just with my hand mix and mix and mix until I get it sort of right. And the consistency has changed from I've been mixing it. It's getting a little bit harder actually. It is about the right consistency. I just wonder, is it enough to give me the depth I need for the piece? So I'm sort of measuring here to see, and sort of saying to myself, is it or is it not enough to do what I need to do? And at the minute I don't think it actually is, so I may need to put more in. So I'll have to do that. You're not going to pick up all the details if there's going to be lumps in the way, so this is what I'm really worried about, because I spent a bit of money on this plaster too. It wasn't cheap, not that cheap anyway. Just going to add some more water. Just going to keep adding water till I get the consistency I need. Hopefully it'll be enough. Used to mess with this stuff when I was a kid, making little houses and things. We put them into these rubber moulds. And they'd come out, you'd wait a few days and they'd come out and you'd see the detail in the moulds was pretty good. This here is pretty thick. Still think I need more water, which I'm deliberately adding a full thing of water into. It is very difficult to get this to loosen up. I've no experience in mixing this stuff, so I don't know what way to go about doing it. It's just turned into one big solid lump. Like, really doesn't have the looseness that I need here. I'm going more into it. More water, because I need to loosen it up a bit. Starting to harden up a bit, like. It's definitely too lumpy, far too lumpy for to be able to do anything with it. Oh, this may not work out at all. It's almost like it's starting to harden up in front of my eyes. Just not working at all, at all. It's just holding the water on the top now. You can see what consistency it's at here. I don't think this is going to work. There you God, it's going solid as a rock, so it is. I just added 2 things full of water into it to see if I can get it softened up. But it really is getting bad. No, I don't think this is going to work, guys. After all me messing and everything else. No. The plaster's just starting to harden up already. It's just lumpy as anything, and I don't think it's going to pick up the details I need it to, and I think it's going to be even difficult to get it to push into it, to be honest with you. That is useless. No, I couldn't push a mould into that. That's absolutely no good. Jeez. It really is going solid now. Here's me hoping that I could make a mould out of that. No. The consistency is just all wrong. No, it's useless. It's hardening up. It's really hardening up here. No, that's just not going to work. No, it really is hardening up here. Right, I think I've proven the fact that this is just not going to work, guys. This is ridiculous. No. Kind of wish that it had been able to do that, but no, it's just not going to work. Wow, it's solid as a rock underneath this thing. It really is. Nah, it's no good. I think if I tried to put it into it even now and take a chance on it, it's definitely not going to pick up the detail number 1 anyway, and it's going to be lumpy as hell. So, I don't know. I could take a chance on it and try pushing it into it anyway to see what it's going to do, and see if the water hardens around it, and what choice do I have? I'll just have to try it. I know it's not going to work though, but I'll try it just for the sake of it. Trial and error. Right, I'm going to wash my hands here. Dry my hands and try and push it into it. And we're just going to have to see how we get on, guys. Here we go. It's nearly bloody floating in the thing. wish it wouldn't. If I could get something to put a little bit of weight on it, maybe might be better. See, can I get something? That tin, maybe? Maybe that'll be too much weight on it. No, I think that tin's about right. That might just help me. Just till we start getting it to harden up a bit. I think it's about as close as I'm going to get, to be honest with you. Something with a bit of weight. I'm just going to push it too far. I'm just trying to get it to sit down enough. Here's a bit of a bearing. Maybe it'll put the weight enough on it. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Right, it's going to keep it where I want it, but is it going to take the shape I want? I'll never know until it dries out. So my usual saying, guys, time is going to tell, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. Pretty sure it's not going to work because of the way it was mixed up. It's just my lack of experience with this stuff that's going to get us into trouble here. But look, we'll just have to take a chance on it and see, but I have to put it somewhere right now where it can harden up in peace and no one's going to annoy it. The wife is in here taking washing in and out and stuff, and she might hit it or knock it over, or I don't know, like. I'll just remove a heap of stuff here and I'll put it up on the bench where it can get a chance to harden up and see what we get. I don't think it's going to work for us. So it's looking like fiberglass is going to be the next option. Right. Just had a bit of an issue there with the piece getting stuck. Right, I'm going to take a chance on that and see how we get on. Wish me luck. Look, it might not work out. It's not looking like it's going to work out, but we'll give it a shot. See you later, guys. Okay, so as you can see, I've had to put a little bit of weight on this to keep it down. And I put it into the watery part of the mould. There's a lot of hard stuff underneath this. It was hardening up literally as I was trying to mix it. So how it's going to work out is anyone's guess when I pull this out of this. So I don't think it's going to work. I think that it's not going to pick up the details I needed to. And we're going to be back at square one, probably looking at making a fiberglass mould instead, which may work better, but we'll see. So that's it for the night, guys. Next time you see it, I'll be pulling the mould out of it and we'll all see how we get on. That's probably going to be in a day or two's time. It's actually going to be more because I'll be away with work and stuff. I'll come back, but it's going to be minutes for use. So until next time, thanks for watching. Okay, so it's now a couple of hours later. And you can see by the patterns on the top that it's starting to harden up. Unfortunately, I got a little bit that leaked into the center of the piece, but it hasn't sank in it, so hopefully it's going to be okay. it's still very wet. It's going to kind of like a jelly kind of a situation here, so I'm hoping it will harden up around it, and if it does, there's a chance our mould may have worked out, but I'm not keeping my hopes up that that's going to be the case. As I said, time's going to tell. This here's solid as a rock nearly here. That big lump there, which means the whole bottom of this is probably solid. But you can see just where the line of the water is, literally, and I'm hoping that that's going to dry out and leave the piece in solid stuff. But we'll see. That's all I can tell you for now. So as you can see, it's now been 2 weeks from I tried to make this mould, and you'll see that it's still not set. So something has went wrong, and I've had to admit defeat on this particular way of making the mould. So guess I'm gonna have to go on and try the next thing, and that's to make it out of fiberglass. So let's have a go at that. It's a pity this didn't work, but I had an idea it was going to be that way, so I'm not that disappointed yet. We'll see what fiberglass can do.